Monday through Friday, high noon, straight up, except on days like today when it's 12:03, but you get the overall idea that we're trying to do here. Here's what happens on this show. I sit here, I spend the last couple of hours looking through all the stuffs, the trends, the headlines, the newspapers, the news sites, the aggregation sites. I go through it all. And then when I feel like I have, a strong understanding of what today is as far as news and buzz and topics and trends, then I bring it to you here and we do it at noon. And this is kind of a cheat sheet for you. What I try to accomplish here is just get everything out there that we could all talk about. I don't want you to ever find yourself in a situation where somebody comes up to you and they say, hey, did you hear about this show is so that you can go, actually, I did hear about that. Yeah. And here's how I do it. It's all about the day, right? Whatever today is. So the first thing we do is we go through the history of the day. We just talk about all the things that occurred on this day in history, just kind of get a little bit of an idea of what we can expect. Then we have birthdays. We celebrate people who were born unto this world. Doesn't matter if they were born in 1422. If they made some kind of an impact, we will talk about them just a little bit. We don't spend all that much time in this portion of the show. Birthdays. Then we go into deaths. We mourn the passings of some people who left us on this day. And then and only then, when I feel that we know all about the history of the day, the births, the mourn, the people who've passed, then we go into the trending topics of the day. Anything that is happening. If it's making news today, I'll cover it here. Couple of caveats to that, though. Don't do any politics. You're not going to get any politics on this show. I mean, you ain't going to get any right bullshit. You ain't going to get any left bullshit. You ain't going to get nothing. You're going to get pretty much all the other things that are going on in the world that don't have much to do with politics. Unfortunately, sometimes we test that caveat because there are certain stories that come up that we just have to discuss. But for the most part, we're not looking to be divisive. So if you want some kind of political propaganda that'll support whatever crazy beliefs you have, be them red or blue, you can go elsewhere because that ain't what this is about. This is just about normal people having a daily conversation across the fence line. Right? You don't get combative with your neighbors. That's what we are. All right. What else do I need to say? I guess that's it. I guess we're ready to go. Programming notes. That's right. A couple of programming notes. There is no Pillow Talk show tonight. We do 2 streams a day. We do this one at noon, and then we come back at 9 o'clock, and myself and James Parker do a thing called Pillow Talk, where we just kind of talk about topics. It's also, for the most part, current events driven, but it also gets into some conversations about, just life in general. So that's at 9 o'clock Monday through Thursdays, 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, right here. Also can be streamed on the Radio Misfits podcast platform, radiomisfits.com, or you can catch past shows by going to pugscast.com. No Pillow Talk show tonight. Also, there is no high noon show tomorrow. I'm sorry, it's Christmas. We've got Christmas hours going on. We got crazy Christmas stuff going on. So no Pillow Talk show tonight. No high noon show tomorrow, Thursday. But there will be a Pillow Talk show on Thursday night. And then, of course, we'll do a regular high noon show on Friday. Okay, so now that we've got that all set, let's get into what today is. It is high noon on the 14th day of December, year of our Lord, 2022. It is the 348th day of the year. That means there are only 17 days remaining till the end of the year. 17 days. 17 days left in this year. You know what I'm seeing a lot? You're seeing a lot of these people. Oh, geez, these people are so dramatic. You're starting to see the good riddance 2022. What an awful year 2022 was. As awful as 2020. Come on, stop it. Every year people say this. Every year. This was the worst year ever. Here's to a great 2023. I'm placing all my chips. I'm going all in that a year from now, you people are like, 2023 was the worst. So just stop it. Just stop it. Although I do think there should be a national lottery for the first celebrity who dies in the new year. That's something that I've been watching lately. God, that's dark. I know that's dark. But somebody died. Somebody big died on like New Year's Day last year. And I went, look at that. There you go. Here, well, let's see if I can pull that up. Somebody died. Somebody died on New Year's Day. And I thought to myself, this year is starting off. Let's see what that could be. Let's January 1st. All right, let's see who died on January 1st in 20. Here we go. I know there was somebody here. See, this is what happens with this show. We get distracted and we go down bunny holes because now I'm just interested in who died in the year. Okay, 1901. Here we go. All right. Who died in 2022 on New Year's Day? Dan Reeves. That's who it was. It was Dan. That's right. I knew it was something sports related. Dan Reeves. There you go. Dead right there. So Dan Reeves won it last year. Dan Reeves is the first celebrity to die in the year 2022. Denver Broncos coach, Atlanta Falcons coach. He was a big football coach. I like Dan Reeves because I was a Denver Broncos fan back in the day, and that's probably why it's seared itself to my memory. And people are going, Dan Reeves ain't a big star. Well, no, but he was to me because I was a Broncos fan. Craig Morton, Ricky Upchurch. Oh, you kidding me? I can name players from the late 70s Broncos team. The Orange Crush defense, I was a big fan. All right, let's get into what today is. Let's see here. So what are some of the things that occurred on this day? On this day in 1819, Alabama became the 22nd state in the United States. Welcome to the party, Alabama. You're a state. So if we were having what do they call those? Employment reviews. we would bring Alabama in and we'd be like, okay, so you've been a state now for 123 or 103 years. Is it 103 years? Hold on, 18, 19, 19, 19. No, it's like 200 years. 18, 19, whatever. Alabama, you've been with us for a while now. We need to talk about some of the things that you've done. Anyway, Alabama, happy birthday to you. You became a United State on this day in 1918. On this day in 1903, the Wright brothers made their first attempt to fly with the Wright Flyer at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Interesting the way this is worded, yes? The Wright brothers make their first attempt to fly. This isn't the day that they actually they did get off the ground. What happened here was, so they built this plane and they were Kill Devil Hill is what they used there at Kitty Hawk in North Carolina. Kill Devil Hill was this inclined dune, and they built like a little ramp. So they decided that they were going to use gravity to help them with their takeoff of their first plane. And they went down the hill, and it was Wilbur. They flipped a coin to decide if it was going to be Wilbur or Orville piloting the thing. This was Wilbur, and Wilbur shit the bed. That's big. Look, you can't say anything. He shit the bed. He came down the hill. He pulled back too soon, and the whole damn plane just came down the hill, went up, boom, and crashed right back down because he had too much of anything. Wilbur, you shit the bed. A couple days later, they did it for real. I don't know if that was Orville. I think it might have been Orville's turn a couple of days later. Orville may have done it correctly. But it was on this day the Wright brothers made their first attempt. A couple of days later, they would successfully do it. On this day in 1940, plutonium is first isolated at Berkeley, California. Plutonium. Yesterday, we had the big fusion announcement where scientists were finally able to create more new energy than it took to create that energy. So it takes energy to create energy, but can you create more energy than the energy that it takes to create it? If you can create more energy, if you can have an energy surplus as compared to the energy that you're using to make that, now we got something. That's fusion. So look at this. Yesterday we had fusion, and on this day in 1940, plutonium was isolated. On this day in 1972, during the Apollo program, I always talk about the Apollo program because I was born on July 20th, and it's kind of a side hustle of mine, being obsessed with the Apollo missions. It was on this day in 1972, Apollo 17. Not Apollo 17. I'm so sorry. Eugene Cernan. Let me read this because this is actually kind of 1972 during the Apollo program. Eugene Cernan is the most recent. That's another interesting choice of words because that means that they're suggesting that. Because I would say he's the last man to walk on the moon. But most recent is how they're putting it because, look, we're hopeful. We're hopeful that we'll get back up there again. There you go. It was on this day. Most recent guy, Eugene Cernan. Let's see. It's after he and Harrison Schmitt complete the third and final extracurricular activity of the Apollo 17 mission. Calm down, Pugs. Take a sip of coffee. Yeah, because that'll calm you down. Thank you. That's my co-host, schizophrenic me. All right, let's move on. Okay, let's not move on. Let's take a beat. Because on this day, 10 years ago, Sandy Hook happened. Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, 28 people, including the gunman, are killed in Sandy Hook, Connecticut. Okay. I was watching earlier today. One of the kids, one of the survivors from the Sandy Hook shooting 10 years ago, was on TV. Man, I mean, it's 10 years. It's 10 years. So it was like 9 years old. I mean, grown up, young man just talking about it. That day is so vividly burned into my memory. I will never forget. I just sat there on the couch watching this story unfold. I think it started maybe around 11 o'clock in the morning, our time. And I watched it from the very beginning of the breaking news. And it was at that time where we had just started going through a divorce, my wife and I. And so my son was with him and he was 3 years old at the time. Man, did I feel isolated. That was a really rough day. Typically, I talk a lot about how I have depression, and I know how to handle it, and I'm doing very well with it. Thank you. And typically, my depression is not triggered by events. It's not triggered by things that happen. It just I really can't account for when these waves of depressive sorrow overtake me. But on this day, it was absolutely triggered. I went into a spiral. I got so oh my God. So God love those kids. What a and then Uvalde. Got that one. I mean, killing the babies, man. People out there just slaughtering our babies. I don't get it. All right. On this day, let's do some birthdays. Let's celebrate some people who were born unto the world on this day. Oh, hold on a second. I got to do something I didn't do. See, this is what happens when I come running in from outside and start the show, because I look at my watch and I'm like, oh, it's 11:58. I got to do something. Happy birthday to Francis Bouvier. Francis Bouvier. You guys know who Francis Bouvier is? Anybody? You need a second? Francis Bouvier. Aunt B. That's right. We're talking about Aunt B. It's Aunt B's birthday. She was born on this day in 1902. Mayberry, Andy Griffith show, right? And growing up, I always call that. I still think of that show as as Barney and Opie. That's what I call that show. I call the show Barney and Opie. I don't know why. It's because when I was really little and it was on, I think those were my two favorite characters. So I would say, when is Barney and Opie coming on? And never really gave Aunt B much thought. Then, the magic of the internet comes around. Check this out. Did you guys know that Aunt B, Francis Bouvier, was a freaking smoke show? Oh my God. Look at this. Here, I'm going to show you pictures of Aunt B. Look at her. She's born on this day in 1902. 1902. Holy cow, is she old? Nope. Calm down. Yep. There we go. Okay, check this out. Check out Aunt B, man. Check out Aunt B. Look at Aunt B. That's the Aunt B we know on the left. And that's Aunt B in like 1922. She's probably running around with J.P. Morgan and Diamond Jim Brady or whoever the people were at that time. There you go. Happy birthday to you, Francis Bouvier. You are a hot babe. Aunt B was a hot babe. If you take nothing else from this show, walk away with the knowledge that Aunt B was a hot babe. By the way, congratulations to my mansplaining partner, Dr. Robert Schwartz. He's the person who hipped me to the fact that Aunt B was, in fact, a hot chick back in her day. Well, let's go back into some more TV from my childhood, because celebrating a birthday today, Maury Amsterdam. That's right, folks. Maury Amsterdam. He played Buddy Sorrell on the Dick Van Dyke Show. Born on this day in 1911. Okay, I got to give you an example of this, because this my man is crazy. Hold on, let me make sure. Let me see if I can get this for you. Because you really gotta hear this to appreciate it. All right, check this out. Celebrating a birthday today. Oh, is this I don't want Christmas stuff. All right, let's see what this is. All right, all right, we'll try this one. This guy. This guy's birthday. You know who this guy is? This guy's awesome. Spike Jones. Spike Jones was an American singer and band leader, and he made weird noises with his band. Let's see. Here's Spike Jones' Jingle Bells. You're telling me people weren't using cocaine back then? Are you serious? I mean, this is cocaine music. Okay, there you go. Spike Jones celebrating a birthday today. Cool ass music beds. I used to use a lot of Spike Jones music beds back in the day. Almost sounded like cartoon music, but it was a little bit more edgy, a little weirder, a little bit stranger. I'm telling you, dude was tripping balls back there in the 1940s. Let's see here. Who else is another one from television's past. Patty Duke. Patty Duke is celebrating a birthday today. Didn't we go into Patty Duke's very bizarre romantic life? At some point we did. We went into Patty Duke's. Patty Duke was a sexually liberated woman. I'll leave it at that. Patty Duke got around, which is interesting because Patty Duke was America's sweetheart. She was like, cause they're cousins, identical cousins. Patty Duke show. She was like America's sweetheart. And it turned out when she got into her early 20s, hey, it was the 60s. She was in much demand. She got around, man. Patty Duke. Good for her. Good for her. She owned her sexuality. There's nothing wrong with that. Born on this day in 1948, Lester Bangs, American journalist and author, widely considered to be the cornerstone of modern rock and roll criticism. Lester Bangs was a rock critic, wrote for Cream magazine. He wrote for a lot of things, but primarily famous for Cream magazine and later Rolling Stone. Without a doubt, I mean, the modern way that you read rock criticism, that rock critics write, there used to be a whole different style because music criticism before rock and roll had almost exclusively existed within the realm of classical music, that kind of thing. And then they took it to rock and roll. There started to be these rock and roll magazines. And you started to have people, and Lester Bangs set the tone for the way. By the way, fun fact, Lester Bangs died very young. I think Lester Bangs was in his early 30s when he died. And he died by accidentally over-medicating himself. He died of high opioid concentration in his body. He was sick, and he was doing a press tour in New York, and he was staying in a hotel. And he drank a whole bottle of NyQuil. He was trying to just blast his system, I guess. And he died. And interestingly enough, he died listening to music. And when they found his body, this album was on the turntable, and it had gone to the final groove. So it was going, there was no more music. It was done. It was Human League. You were working as a waitress in a cocktail. That song killed Lester Bangs. I don't know if that's true, but it was a song that was playing when he died. Born on this day in 1949, Bill Buckner, Billy Buck. Oh, Billy Buck, the Buckner Ball. Talk about a guy, man. I'll tell you, what have you done for me lately is totally true in the case of Bill Buckner, because Bill Buckner was a baller of a baseball player. He was a very good baseball player. Dodgers as a rookie, one of the big stars of the Dodgers, then a big trade with the Chicago Cubs, played years for the Chicago Cubs. Then got traded to the Boston Red Sox, where he is famous for blowing the World Series. The Buckner Ball, the ball that went through his legs, allowing the New York Mets the Miracle Mets the Miracle Mets were 69. The New York Mets of that era were Strawberry, Hernandez, Gooden, those guys. Davey. Why can't I think of anyway, it doesn't matter. And he let a ball go through his legs. And for the rest of his life, that's what he was. He was the guy who sucked because one ball went through his legs. Buckner was great. Buckner was a very good ball player. He Definitely one of the better players of his era. Chicago Cubs Hall of Fame, not in the baseball Hall of Fame. And there are a lot of people who say that it's because of that Buckner ball thing, because there's just too much of a stink on him. One play defined an otherwise exceptional baseball career for Bill Buckner. Born on this day in 1969, Natasha McElhone. She is an English-Irish actress. She's been in a lot of things. She's been in Ronin. She's good in Ronin. But I remember her from Californication. I don't know if you watch Californication on Showtime. It's a great show. David Duchovny plays a writer who's also a sex addict, but it's really a funny show, Californication on Showtime. Natasha McElhone, our birthday girl today, she played Karen. If you're familiar with Californication, Karen was his wife, David Duchovny's wife, the long estranged wife of him. And that's not like long estranged wife. So what did she do? Like 5 episodes? No, she was a main character. She was in every episode. After David Duchovny, it would be her name. She was the second biggest star in the show. She was good. It's a good show. Happy birthday to you, Natasha McElhone. Born on this day in 1988, Vanessa Hudgens. I don't know. What is the difference between a Hudgens and a Gomez, and who's the other one? Who's the other one that's got she's got all the addiction problems? I don't know. There's like a whole bunch there was a crop of like young triple threats, singer, dancer, actors that came around about 10 years ago. And Vanessa Hudgens is in that. Disney, are they all like Disney kids? Is that it? Were they all just Disney kids that got thrown into the adult world of entertainment? Not porn. I don't mean that. Although I bet you people would be very interested in a Vanessa Hudgens porn. Can't speak for others' tastes. Born on this day in 1991, Offset, Migos. Now, I'm not a big fan of it. I thought Offset died. I thought I had to look this up. I thought Offset died like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, but it turns out that was another member of Migos. I'm not all that familiar with Migos. That was another member of Migos named Takeoff, not Offset. So Offset, you got one more birthday in the bank. Good for you. Also born on this day in 1997, NFL wide receiver DK Metcalf. I mentioned DK Metcalf as a little doff of the cap to my son. My 13-year-old son loves DK Metcalf, one of his favorite players in the NFL. Also, fun fact, DK Metcalf, I always think of DK Metcalf as the son of Terrence Metcalf. Terrence Metcalf was also a football player. He played the offensive line. Terrence was a Chicago Bear for a bunch of years. Terrence Metcalf, that's why I know Terrence Metcalf. DJ Metcalf, son of Terrence Metcalf, celebrating a birthday today. All right, let's go into some of the deaths. Boy, come out of the chutes here with people who have left us on this day, huh? This is a big one. We're not going to mess around here. Dead on this day, ladies and gentlemen, father of our country, George Washington. George Washington died on this day. Hold on. This is really embarrassing. Demi Lovato. Thank you, Jeff Ballard. That's Demi Lovato.
Hey,
Lacey, we are live on the stream here. Do you not know that I stream every day at noon? You just send me texts interrupting the show every day at noon?
I forgot, but now I would love to keep doing this. I'm going to set a reminder in my phone.
Okay. All right. Answered your question, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it was great. You were awesome. Thank you.
Well, I meant you, but thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. Okay. Have a great show.
You too. Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Lacey G. Sidekick, assistant. She does the phone. She does everything on Mansplaining. Everything. We're lucky to have her. That's the thing. People don't even know I stream. People closest to me. I get text messages from like really good friends. What are you doing? I'm doing a stream. The same stream I've been doing for a year and a half. Thanks for bothering. Ugh. All right. So where were we? George Washington, father of our country. He died on this day in 1799. I don't think that I have ever been aware of the death day of George Washington. And it feels to me that in this country, I mean, we're all so patriotic, right? I mean, don't we all wear the flag pins, and don't all of our social medias have the flag to let everybody know that we're a patriot? Shouldn't this be a national day of mourning? He's the father of our country. I mean, it just seems like there should be a little bit more. I think Washington. Look, I know that history has revealed some things that don't play here in 2023 about our founding fathers, but still, separate the art from the artist. George Washington, the art that he created is this country. I just think that his death day maybe ought to be a national day of mourning. Flags at half staff. I don't know, just a little something. Throw a little something to the father of our country. On this day in 1920, George Gipp passed away, American football player. George Gipp, he died. He died while he was a college football player. So, and he was very good. He was a very good college football player. But he's famous because he was immortalized in the film Knute Rockne All-American, which was a movie that came out in like the 1940s or something about Knute Rockne and Notre Dame fighting Irish football. And one of the main threads throughout the story of Knute Rockne All-American was that their star player, George Gipp, had with cancer or something like that. He'd gotten sick. And famously, the role of George Gipp was played by, ladies and gentlemen, President Ronald Reagan. That's right, President Ronald Reagan, and probably his best role, because he did a lot of bad movies. He did a lot of like stupid B movies and stuff. Reagan wasn't an A-list star. He was a B-list star. He did, movies that were, he wasn't Clark Gable. You know what I mean? He wasn't John Wayne. He wasn't Cary Grant. He was Ronald Reagan. He was like a mid-level actor, but George Gipp is probably his most, beloved and appreciated dramatic acting role. He had that. I'm a Notre Dame freak, so I can do the line. You want me to do the famous George Gipp line from Knute Rockne All-American? All right, let me do it. Let me see if I can do it of a man dying in bed, speaking to Knute Rockne, who has come to visit me on my deathbed. Here we go. This is a famous line. Someday, when the team's up against it, Rock, and the brakes are beating the boys, ask them to go in there with all they got and just win one for the Gipper. I don't know where I'll be, Rock, but I'll hear about it, and I'll be happy. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I memorized that because a Notre Dame fan. All Notre Dame fans can memorize that. But brakes are beating the boys. I never understood that line. Is that like a 1940s or 1920s terminology? It's like someday when the team's up against it, Rock, and the brakes are beating the boys. I don't know what that means. George Gipp died on this day in 1920. Died on this day in 1943. John Harvey Kellogg. Do you know what John Harvey Kellogg invented? The tampon. No, he's Kellogg. He invented the cornflake. Isn't that weird that somebody invented the cornflake? Talk about taking shit for granted. I just assumed the cornflake was always around. But some dude went, hey, cornflake. Day one of cornflake. Also dead on this day in 1985, Roger Maris. Roger Maris, the reluctant superstar. Roger Maris, famous of 61 New York Yankees, the 1961 battle with teammate Mickey Mantle for the home run title, which was won by Roger Maris. Roger Maris was a tortured dude, man. He was a small town dude. Not even a great ball player. Roger Maris was a good ball player. Roger Maris was not like, this team you're talking about, you had Mantle, the team was loaded. The Yankees. So when Maris got really hot in 61, it was kind of a shock. It was like, where did this come from? This guy isn't this good. If it was these days, we'd say roids, but no, he had a whale of a career season, obviously. In 1961, he hit 61 home runs. He beat his teammate, Mickey Mantle, but he hated every minute of it. Roger Maris was tortured that entire summer. He didn't like the attention. He didn't like, and that's also why, Roger Maris didn't hang around the game to the extent that other guys do. You would see, in the 1980s, they'd trot out Joe DiMaggio or, people like that. You never saw Roger Maris. Roger Maris was a very private guy. He didn't like being famous. He didn't like the attention. Interesting guy. Roger Maris died on this day in 1985. Dead on this day, more throwback TV people. Dead on this day in 1998. This was his move. Are you ready? Well, hold on. Wait, can I do it? Wait, yeah. Okay. So here, this was this guy's move. Okay, tell me, who died today? Who is that? Who's that guy? Famous guy from 70s TV. That was his move. He would go. He'd mug to the camera and then do his hand like this. Anybody in the chat room? I don't have time for it. Norman Fell, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Roper. Remember when he would do that with Jack? He'd be like, it's like Norman Fell, 1970s TV, openly hated gay people. Just TV in 1970s. It was all right to have a character that openly hated a gay dude, and that was Norman Fell's Mr. Roper from Three's Company. Hated gay people, did not like them. Born on or dead on this day in 2006. Here's another dude that needs to be mentioned. You may not know this guy's name, but we talked about Lester Bangs. Lester Bangs being super important in the history of rock and roll. This dude, equally as important, but probably more so than Lester Bangs. Lester Bangs was a critic, so the art was already created, and then Lester Bangs would write about it, and that's how he got famous. This is the guy who saw the people before they made it, and he said, all right, we're going to get our support behind you. Ahmet Ertegun, who is a Turkish immigrant to the United States. Ertegun was the founder of Atlantic Records. He became one of the most powerful people in the music industry. Let's see some of the bands. Who are some of the bands that he's Ahmet Ertegun, Turkish, blah, blah, blah. Just a Turkish-American businessman, songwriter, record producer, record executive, and philanthropist. Ertegun was the co-founder of Atlantic Records. He discovered and championed many leading rhythm and blues and rock musicians. That's the other thing about Ahmet Ertegun. He fought to get black musicians their music back. He fought for, he handled a whole bunch of R&B people and a lot of blues guys, and he was at the top, Atlantic, and he would go back later in their careers and try and recoup some of the money that they didn't get earlier in their careers when they were being, screwed by smaller record labels. Ertegun was the co-founder of Atlantic Records. He discovered and championed many leading rhythm and blues and rock musicians. Ertegun also wrote classic blues and pop songs. He served as the chairman of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum. Ertegun has been described as one of the most significant figures in the modern recording industry. In 2017, he was inducted into the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame. And every year, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I just watched this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like the big award for the person who's the most kick-ass career. They give it out every year. They call it the Ahmet Ertegun Award. Ahmet Ertegun Award. So there you go. On this day, the great Ahmet Ertegun passed through. Also dead on this day in 2013, Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole was an actor from back in the day, and he was a drunk. He was actually, I think Peter O'Toole really, yes. Okay, now the story is now coming back in my head. Peter O'Toole made a movie in the early 80s called My Favorite Year. And it's a very hard movie to find. I don't know. Maybe my friend Ed would know how to find My Favorite Year, but I love this movie. My Favorite Year is the story of, it's made in the 80s, but it's set in the 1950s. And it's around a live television show, like the Ed Sullivan Show or whatever, that was going to air in the 1950s. And Peter O'Toole plays a movie star who is going to be a guest on the show. And Peter O'Toole essentially plays a movie star based on Peter O'Toole, the movie star. Basically, he's playing himself. And he is just a complete drunk. He goes missing. They can't find him. It's 5 minutes to showtime. And he's, swinging from the rafters. He's funny, great, underappreciated film. Peter O'Toole, My Favorite Year. He died on this day in 2013 at Lawrence of Arabia. I guess, I'd be remiss if I did not mention that he was also Lawrence of Arabia. I mean, he had a big movie career back in the day. But My Favorite Year is probably my favorite Peter O'Toole movie. Also, last one, dead on this day, we're mourning the passing of Bernard Fox. Did a lot of, he's another one of these throwback TV guys. Bernard Fox was Dr. Bombay from Bewitched. Remember Bewitched? Dr. Bombay. Dr. Bombay was always one of my favorites. I love that dude. He was funny. Whenever Dr. Bombay showed up on Bewitched, you knew some hijinks were about to be afoot. All right, that's it. Do you feel like we understand the day? We did the history. We did the birthdays. We did the mornings. Now it's time for us to jump into all the things that are trending. Everything that you need to know that is happening right now, percolating across the universe. across whatever's trending. You know what I'm saying? These are headlines. I don't have any special powers. These are just, things that I found online that I thought we should talk about today just to get you all prepped up. Number one, as predicted here on Monday, maybe it was on Monday. I think it was. Government shutdown. Government shutdown is trending. It's trending number one. It's everybody talking about. It's big news. The government's going to shut down on Friday because the idiots here and the idiots here can't seem to come together here. Right? They're here. And so we're going to shut the government down, and your grandma's not going to get her Social Security, and your brother who works for the post office is going to get laid off. All of that kind of nonsense that they threaten us with these government shutdowns. Well, I predicted, as I think you may recall, I predicted that they were going to fix this, that this would, because of the way the situation is right now and how campaigns start earlier. Yes, we're 2 years away from the general election, but campaigns start earlier and earlier. So people are already campaigning for it. So we got to look at this like a campaign year negotiation. Here's what I said was going to happen. I said that this is going to be a Biden bill. So it's a bill that comes from the left side, right? Bill coming from the left side. People on the right side, because they don't want anything, nothing. It doesn't matter. If they were like, we've got a bill that cures cancer, they'd be like, no, Biden sucks, right? So they just can't work together. So what I predicted would happen would be something very strange in this situation. I predicted that the crazy people over here on the right, would take the crazy bill from the people on the left, and they would be okay with it. They would bipartisan it. They would bipartisan the shit out of this bill, and they would get it passed, and there won't be a government shutdown. Why won't there be a government shutdown? Because if there is a government shutdown, and as I said, we are so close now, we have compressed the election cycles where we're essentially already campaigning for the next election. Because of that, the Republicans understand that the Democrats will be able to say, the Republicans shut down. We had a bill. We didn't want it shut down. We did the work. They just said no. So the Republicans don't want that. They don't want that being said. And what they also want is and I've read some bipartisan, breakdowns of what this Biden bill to keep the government open is. It's a big spending bill. It is a big, let's jumpstart the United States economy. It's like a little tiny New Deal kind of a thing. A lot of spending. The Republicans want to pass that. They want it to be all right so that they can immediately start running on the fact that the Democrats spend all our money. I mean, do you see how absurd this whole thing is? This is nuts. So that was my prediction. And guess what? It came true. Lawmakers have reached a shocking bipartisan agreement for framework to avert framework. They've agreed to a framework to avoid the shutdown. And remember, Biden gets the win. Biden gets to say that he avoided the shutdown. And now the Republicans get to continue going on about they want to spend $50 billion on potholes, that kind of thing. They get to, talk about how we're wasting money. So anyway, as predicted here, it looks like the government shutdown is not going to occur. Bay St. Louis down there in Mississippi is trending. Bay St. Louis is trending because there was tragedy happened overnight. 2 Bay St. Louis police officers were murdered. They got a call to a Motel 6, and they went here. I'll just read you the story since this is kind of serious stuff going on here. CNN, 2 police officers were shot and killed early Wednesday morning in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. The 2 officers received a call for service at the Motel 6 on Highway 90. The officers encountered a woman who shot both officers before turning the gun on herself. One officer died on the scene, and the second officer was taken to the hospital but later died. Oh, man. All right. So there you have it. That's why Bay St. Louis is trending today. What else do we have here? Yeah, I've been tracking this. If you watch the show every Monday through Friday at noon, you may have noticed that I've got a weird obsession with this. It's in flux. The list is in flux. I've got a weird obsession with the world's richest man list, right? Because I don't know why. It's just interesting to me, but it's been in flux. Just a couple of months ago, not even a couple of months ago, a couple of weeks ago, Elon Musk was the runaway world's richest man. Like runaway. Like he had like 180 billion. And the next guy had like 135 billion. You know what I mean? It was runaway. Well, Elon Musk has been passed. Tesla is cratering. He's leveraged to hell, I guess, with this Twitter deal that he's made. He's getting some issues now. I mean, I don't know. Look, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is now the second richest man in the world. It had been last week, it was going back and forth. Like you had to check it every hour. It was either Elon Musk was number one or this Bernard Arnault guy was number one. Bernard Arnault is a Frenchman. He is the leader of some luxury brand. I don't know. It's like his company owns like 50 other companies, and all of those 50 companies that he owns are for one percenters. You know what I mean? Like he owns like Bugatti, he owns like Tiffany, he owns like Louis Vuitton. You know, he owns like all of like everything that super rich people use. This guy sells it to him. So Bernard Arnault last week passed Elon Musk to become briefly the world's richest man. And then Musk came back, and then Arnault seriously, it went back and forth like 5 or 6 times last week. Well, it seems to have settled, and it seems that now we have someone pulling away, and it is Bernard Arnault who is now pulling away as the world's richest man. He now has like a $20 billion lead on Elon Musk. Looks Tesla is doing this to him. Tesla is having some troubles on the old stock market, and people are complaining, and apparently there's a rumor that there's this new Tesla that they have coming out that they've been promoting that is supposed to be a game changer. Doesn't work. It's like an Elizabeth Holmes kind of a thing. I don't know, whatever, but Tesla's having some problems, and it's affecting the overall net worth of Elon Musk. Don't cry for him. He's still like ridiculously wealthy, second wealthiest man in the world. Bernard Arnault, the chairman of French luxury goods giant LVMH, LVMH, has just become the first European to top Bloomberg's list of the world's richest people. You can go, there's a couple of different lists, Forbes, Bloomberg, but Arnault is now on top on both. Now worth $171 billion, Arnault's wealth eclipsed Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk's $164 billion. Okay, so it's not as much as I thought. I had read something earlier where he was pulling away. Well, he's kind of pulling away. 7. So he's got $7 billion more. The difference between the first wealthiest man in the world and the second wealthiest man in the world is $7 billion. So one Mark Cuban. So that's the difference between Bernard Arnault and Elon Musk, the first and second wealthiest person in the world, is one Mark Cuban. Just put it in your head that way. Isn't that weird? Doesn't that sort of make you understand how obnoxiously wealthy these two guys are at the top of this? Mark Cuban, the average guy on the street, we look at Mark Cuban like, he's the richest man in the world. No, he's not. He's not even close. Elon Musk has like how many would that be? So let's give Mark Cuban 10. So 10, 20. So he's got like 20 Mark Cubans. Elon Musk is worth like 20 Mark Cubans. So there you have it. World's wealthiest, trending. Elon Musk taking it on the chops. He'll be back. Let's see, what else do we have here? This Bankman-Fried kid is getting on my nerves. You know, this FTX Bitcoin bro, this guy, he's getting on your nerves. I don't like the look of him. He just looks like a douche. Look at my crazy. What did they used to call that? They used to call that a Jewfro, right? Isn't that what that used to be called? And I mean, that was like a normal thing. I know you can't say that now. You said Jew and Fro. That offends 2 groups of people. Why? Why does that offend 2 groups of people? I don't understand why that's even offensive. But okay, whatever. I just don't like him. I know he's a rich kid. He's a rich kid who, just. So anyway, he's sitting in jail in the Bahamas. They caught him a couple of days ago. He had his first court appearance today, and he showed up. His mom and dad were there. He don't want to be in jail. And are you ready for Sam Bankman-Fried's reasons for not being in jail? Okay, here you go. There's 3 of them. First reason, he gets cold. Not kidding. You can't put 30-year-old billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried in prison in the Bahamas. He gets cold, to which I would say, it's the Bahamas. It doesn't get cold here. All right, that's one. That's one reason that his lawyer gave. The second reason was he has ADD. He can't do prison time because he has ADD. Now, I ask you, how many prisoners in lockup in your just pick your random county jail? How many prisoners in there do you think have ADD? I don't know. 7 out of 10. I mean, there are traits that lead you to a criminal lifestyle, and maybe that's all I'm saying is bad decisions, people in jail. I think there's a lot of people in jail with ADD. Sam Bankman-Fried. I think you'll be fine. So we've got it gets cold. He doesn't want to get cold. 2, Sam Bankman-Fried has ADD, so he can't do prison time. And thirdly, Sam Bankman-Fried says that he can't go to jail because the jailers do not have an appropriate vegan menu for him. That's right. That's right. He's a vegan. You can't put me in jail. I have to eat vegan. Here, have a head of lettuce, you little son of a bitch. Nibble on that, you gerbil freak. A vegan? He can't go to jail because he's a vegan. He can't go to jail because he's got ADD. He can't go to jail. What was the other one? ADD, vegan, cold. That's right, because he gets cold. He gets cold in jail. So they made these arguments today in court, and God love her, the Bahamian judge said, shut up. You're going to jail. And then the judge said, well, how about the lawyer said, how about a $250,000 bond? And the judge said, I don't think so. So Sam Bankman-Fried, he's going to be cold. He's going to be fidgety. He's not going to know what to do because of his ADD. And he's going to have to eat a hamburger or something. I don't know. Because they don't have vegan food. Now, if they make special accommodations for this dude, They will make special accommodations. He will get a vegan menu. He will. Sure he will. TikTok is trending. This is a big one. I don't know if you saw this, but here, I'll read you the story because I don't understand this. I don't have TikTok. My buddy Ed, he's very anti-TikTok. And I have to say, the reason that I have never gotten on TikTok, although I think it seems like a really terrific promotional tool that I might actually be good at. But I have resisted TikTok because I trust my guy Ed implicitly on these things. And he says, no, he's like Mr. Anti-TikTok. And so, look, I have friends like Ed. Ed has been one of my closest friends for over 2 decades now. And I don't want to learn about this stuff. And he knows all about it. So there we go. Although it's not really a fair trade because I don't know. There's like no shit that I know that he doesn't know. So it's like he's getting nothing out of this relationship. I'm getting a whole lot. I suppose if he wants to know about the Chicago White Sox farm system, I might be able to inform him there. I'm pretty up on that. I did a big deep dive yesterday afternoon on my White Sox farm system. Here's the story as it concerns TikTok. Let's see here. Illinois Congressman Raja Krish. Oh, Jesus, one of these difficult names. I have a Western sensibility. It's difficult for me, but I will try because I think it's respectful to try to pronounce people's names that are difficult to a Western sensibility. Illinois Congressman Raja Krishnam Murthy, cool name, is leading a bipartisan effort in Washington for a nationwide ban on the popular app TikTok. The legislation would block all transactions from any social media company that lawmakers believe is under the influence of Russia, China, or other concerning foreign countries. The bill is in response to fears the app could be used to spy on Americans. TikTok insists user data is safely stored outside of China and is free from Beijing's reach. All right, so that's the problem. Here's how we solve this problem. Okay, if the concern is, and this is me being a reductive dumb guy, if the problem is that we're worried that China is going to have access to spy on American citizens who are using TikTok, how about we do this? How about important people who have important shit? How about they don't go on TikTok? How about TikTok is just filled with all of us? all the idiots, because I got to be honest with you, there ain't nothing China's getting from my TikTok account. Okay, there's nothing. I have nothing to offer, and because I have nothing, I quite honestly don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. China wants. Look, I already assume people are spying on me all this. I mean, there's so much stuff that we don't know that's going on. You can't drive yourself nuts with it. You got to just be. I got nothing to hide. I got nothing China wants. China ain't gonna waste their time with me. But if I was like a senator or a congressman or something, maybe not have TikTok. Maybe those people should be the ones not to have TikTok, and let the rest of us just make our stupid little 5-second videos or whatever the hell you do on there. Like I say, I don't have TikTok anyway, so it's not really a big issue for me, but it seems to be a big issue that's gaining steam nationwide. TikTok is in trouble. Here's a thing. Here's an idea. What is this? Some extraterrestrial proprietary information or technology that they're using for TikTok? Can't there be an American TikTok? Can't there be like can't there be a Pepsi to TikTok's Coke? Seriously. Like, why is this all about TikTok? Why don't we here just start our own TikTok? Call it something else. Call it TikTok. Call it whatever you want. I don't care. This is okay. So here we go. Couple of passings. Couple of people passed away today. This is a big one. I'm unfamiliar with this guy. I'm unfamiliar. I mean, I guess I know who he is because, I've seen him in passing, but as far as his personality and all that stuff, I don't know. Twitch has passed away at 40 years old. DJ Twitch, better known as Stephen Boss. He was most famous, I guess. Most famous. He was Ellen DeGeneres' DJ on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And he's also was, I guess he was a winner on America's Got Talent or something as a dancer. And then Ellen discovered him, and it turned out he was a DJ by the time of the end of his run there. He was one of the executive producers of the Ellen show. He's very, had a whole lot of shit going on, man. And this is a disturbing story. Apparently he killed himself. Apparently he walked out of his home. His wife said that he left, and I'll read you the story. Stephen Twitch Boss, who gained fame as the DJ on the Ellen DeGeneres talk show, has died. He was 40 years old. On Wednesday morning, Boss's wife, Allison Holker, issued a statement to People magazine about her husband's passing. The couple recently celebrated their 9th wedding anniversary. It is with the saddest and heaviest of hearts that I have to share my husband, Stephen, has left us, she wrote. Stephen lit up every room he stepped into. He valued family, friends, and community above all else. And leading with love and light was everything to him. He was the backbone of our family, the best husband and father, and an inspiration to his fans. To say he left a legacy would be an understatement, and his positive impact will continue to be felt, his wife continued. I am certain there won't be a day that goes by that we won't honor his memory. We ask for privacy during this difficult time for myself and especially for our 3 children. Stephen, we love you, we miss you, and I will always save the last dance for you. Law enforcement sources have told TMZ that Holker went to the that's the wife. Law enforcement sources told TMZ that the wife went to the Los Angeles police station and claimed her husband left home without his vehicle, which she said was very rare. What the fudge? Yeah, hold on. I gotta take this one. Give me a second. All right, and we're back. I do apologize for that. And I just noticed that the Be Right Back thing has been up for what? 2 days now? Hold on a second. And now the dog is barking at the door, so you know how this goes. The dog is barking at the door, and I've got it locked so she can't pop it open. So let me let her in. All right, let's go. Come on. There you go, buddy. All right, you're a good dude. You are a good dude. Go lay down. All right. Go ahead, good girl. Yeah, you did a good job. That pool guy ain't going to do anything wrong. You got him in check. Dog had a busy day. The pool guy just left, so she's been on point, and now look at her. Now she's sleeping. Hold on a second. We will continue the live stream in just a moment. It's an active house. It's an active guest house. We've got things happening. We got people calling. We got the dog trying to get in. All right. Back to the story now. This is the story of DJ Twitch from the Ellen DeGeneres Show, who has passed away at the age of 40. Law enforcement sources told TMZ that the wife, Twitch's wife, went to the LAPD station on December 13th and claimed her husband left home without his vehicle, which she said was very rare. The site then reports that police received a call about a shooting at an LA hotel where they found Boss's body. He had apparently died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So there you have it. DJ Twitch. That's terrible. That's sad. All right. Here's another one that's sad, although not as sad. Not as sad, because this dude lived a life. This dude was around for. Here, let me show you something here. Let me see if I can find this now. Here's another passing. And I don't even think that this is getting any kind of play. Just hear that? The dog just made a weird. What's going on with you? What was that? What, you got the dog flu? Remember the dog flu was trending the other day. Everybody's got dog flu. Not him. How do I do this? It's important that I show you this guy because you're not going to know his name, but when I show you his face, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that guy. Here, let's do it like this. All right, Stuart Margolin has died. Do you guys know who Stuart Margolin is? This is like first of all, I knew the guy's name. When I saw the thing that Stuart Margolin had died, I was like, wow, really? I assumed he died years ago. I mean, I really did, because he's an older guy, but he is a dude that was a staple on 1970s TV. He never was really famous for any one single role. Although I guess that's not true. I guess that isn't true. He was famous for his role on the Rockford Files, but I never watched the Rockford Files. That wasn't a show. That was a little bit before my time. I know him from reruns of Love American Style. He was like on every episode of Love American Style. His brother was the executive producer of it, so he was like a regular cast member in all those sketches. I'm going to show you some pictures of him, and I want you to just see if you recognize this guy, because I'm telling you, he was a staple of my childhood TV. I thought he was funny. I thought he was interesting. So there he is. This is him later in life. That dude probably doesn't look all that familiar to you, does he? He just looks like an older man. He actually kind of looks what? He looks like an Indian, right? Looks like an old Indian gentleman, old native gentleman. All right, so that's what he looked like recently. Now I'm going to start showing you some pictures of him, and you're going to go, oh, that guy. All right, that guy, huh? Starting to come in a little bit more. Look at that face. Look at those eyes. How about this guy? Look at it. He was Angel from the Rockford Files. Look at Stuart Margolin. This guy right here was on every television show in the 1970s. And look at him. Look at that little smile on his face there. There he is with Jim Rockford in the role of Angel. I loved this guy. This guy, for some reason, he always made me laugh. I always thought he was cool. He was always he always had a bit of a game going. He was always a bit of a con man. Very funny guy. Very good. Big part of my childhood, that dude. Never famous, but somebody like, to me, that dude is very famous. To me, that guy is a staple of American television in the 1970s. Stuart Margolin has passed away. He was like 80 something. Well, let's see, how old was he? Let's make sure we give old Stuart Margolin his proper due. Stuart Margolin was, how old was he? 82 years old. 82 years old. Died yesterday. Another one. Okay, so here we go. So the third here. I don't want to get all morbid. I know we've just done Twitch, Stuart Margolin, and now we're going to talk a little bit about Grant Wahl, the soccer journalist who dropped dead at the World Cup. Suspicious circumstances. Remember that people tried, the QAnon freaks, they tried to get that whole nonsense started where, well, it's just a coincidence that he was wearing a rainbow t-shirt in a country that doesn't like gay people. That's why they killed him for wearing a t-shirt. An international incident against a high-profile member of the media over you shut up. You're just so stupid. Just these conspiracy theories of people. Turns out he had an aortic aneurysm. He had been sick, as was reported. He had been blogging about being sick. Like his updates the whole time he was at the World Cup. He was like, oh, I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling run down. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating right. I'm running and I just feel terrible. He went to the doctor while there. And then he passed away while watching a game. He just slumped back in his seat. An aortic aneurysm is, basically his heart exploded. I hate to put it so gruesomely, but that's, kind of what happened. And it complicated from pneumonia and stuff like that. He was sick and he was pushing and Grant Wahl is probably, I heard so many between Mike Leach's passing and Grant Wahl testimonials. Sports radio the last couple of days has just been just all kinds of information about both of these people. Grant Wahl was much beloved. So was Mike Leach, for that matter. I've heard some Mike Leach, Mississippi State head coach, creator of the air raid offense, Texas Tech's winningest coach of all time. He passed away the other day at 61 years old. Still a lot of good. Anyway, the Grant Wahl thing, aortic embolism. He wasn't murdered by a Qatari death squad for wearing a rainbow T-shirt. I know that. And by the way, when I say the quote, when I say crazy Q people, that's just my placeholder for anybody who has a crazy thought. Anybody who says something really stupid that's without merit and is crazy, I'm like, hey, okay, you're a Q weirdo. Doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left, because quite frankly, Q is filled with people from all different sides. But it's the crazy left that's all going, they killed him for the gay T-shirts. Oh, shut up. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And targeted American journalists for wearing a rainbow pride T-shirt. They just didn't do it. They just didn't do it. That doesn't happen. Those are the kinds of, you ever heard of an international incident? You don't cause an international incident over a dude wearing a T-shirt. Now, if this had just been some guy from Toledo, maybe he disappears and then, we start asking questions, but no, too high profile. This is not possible. Let's see here. Marcus Mariota is trending. Marcus Mariota, quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, or at least he was. Who is it that they who is it that the Atlanta Falcons elevated to the starting position? Anyway, Marcus Mariota was the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. He got benched and he walked because he's a bitch. He walked away from the team. On Thursday, the Falcons told quarterback Marcus Mariota that he'd be benched. The next day, he left the team. It's a confusing situation exasperated by an erroneous item from Sports Illustrated claiming that Mariota's partner had a baby on Tuesday of this week. If true, that would explain his absence from the team. The truth, however, is that the baby was born last week after the game against the Steelers. Indeed, Coach Arthur Smith painted a very different picture to The Athletic, creating the clear impression that Mariota left for reasons unrelated to a recent visit from the Stork. As Coach Smith told it, the Falcons were quite sure, the Falcons weren't quite sure whether Mariota will be back at all. Executives from other teams are scratching their heads at this. Mariota technically can't be placed on injured reserve without a true and genuine injury that prevents him from playing. Having a supposedly chronic knee injury that he suddenly decides is bad enough to sideline him isn't enough, especially when he hasn't been listed a single time in 2022 on the team's injury report for any reason. All right, so Marcus Mariota, quarterback, walks away from the team, and there you have it. It's interesting though that how is this more or less of a bitch move than what Antonio Brown did with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year? Remember when Antonio Brown just quit the team in the middle of the game? I guess that would be the most obvious difference, that Marcus Mariota walked away from his team during practice, and Antonio Brown chose to do it in a game. But boy, Antonio Brown was destroyed by every form of media. Not even sports people, regular mainstream news people were talking about what a disgrace the behavior of Antonio Brown is. I'm not hearing that about Marcus Mariota. Are you? I'm not. I'm hearing people going, "Oh, he needs to get back in camp," but I'm not hearing the kind of vitriol towards Marcus Mariota that we got with Antonio Brown. Maybe it's a quarterback thing, or maybe, and again, let's do this. Maybe it's because Antonio Brown had a well-established resume of being a douchebag and causing problems, whereas I don't know that's the case for Marcus Mariota. I don't know that Marcus Mariota's ever been a problem anywhere. Where's he been? Tennessee, Oakland, and now Atlanta, right? I don't know that he was necessarily a problem in any of those places, just not good enough to start. All right, let's see here. And I think Mariota's gotten, well, I don't need to go. Hey, we don't need to go into the film room where I break down Marcus Mariota's positives. We're not going to do that. Here's an interesting story. This is I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, unless it's a really fun conspiracy theory. If it's really fun, then I'll play along. Boy, this is there was a big fire in Red Hook, Brooklyn this morning. Big fire, just wiped out the building. And what makes it interesting is that the fire occurred at the New York Police Department evidence facility. So somebody burned down the building that the New York Police Department houses all of the evidence for past criminal cases, ongoing criminal cases, current criminal cases. They burnt all the evidence to the ground. Now, here's the problem. They are worried now that any lawyer can take somebody who's been convicted and is in jail and petition to retry the case. They'd be like, yeah, you know what? We found some stuff and we've got a new argument to make. So we'd like to, go in front of a judge and make a new case. And then when they do that, the prosecutors then have to go, well, here, let me show you all of the evidence from the first time that we convicted him. And now those prosecutors are going to go, okay, fine, let him free because we don't have the evidence anymore because somebody burnt down the evidence building. It's bad too. It's like they said that they can save a whole bunch of stuff. 80% of what was the term that they used? They used the term 80% of. I don't remember the term that they used specifically for this kind of evidence, but blood, biological, anything that was like, not, here's the hammer he used to crush her skull. Okay, not that. Like the other kinds of paper, DNA results, files, all of that kind of stuff. All of that stuff that probably, I'm guessing, hasn't been backed up on computers because I'm guessing the New York Police Department doesn't have all that much money to spend on such things. And they're just hoping nothing like this ever happens. And now this has happened. So we'll see. The New York Police Department and the people who are speaking out about this are saying, I know it just seems like a story about a fire, but this is going to be a monumental problem for the New York courts coming up in the next couple of years because it's going to be a lot of attorneys who are now, here's how this is going to work. Shyster attorneys are going to go to families of people who are in prison for crimes that they were convicted on, evidence that burned up in this thing. So you go to the mom of some dude who's been in prison for 10 years and you say, ma'am, hire me as your lawyer and I'm telling you that's what's going to happen. You're going to have all of these opportunistic little shyster lawyers who are going to, prey on the families and get all kinds of monies and retry these courts. And quite frankly, they might get out. Because, again, if the evidence is gone that was used to convict them in the first case. Okay, so that's a crazy story that happened. Okay, the National Film Registry is, what is this now? What is this story about? Did they add new movies? So the National Film Registry, I think, is a very cool thing. It's just so it's like the official government library of films, Hollywood films, that we feel are important and need to be preserved for future generations. the way I look at this, 2,000 years from now, when some archaeologists, they'll probably have gills and stuff, and, who knows what we'll look like 2,000 years from now. 2,000 years from now, when they're excavating the old site of where the Library of Congress used to be, they'll uncover all of this stuff, and then they'll sit around and watch When Harry Met Sally. Because When Harry Met Sally is going in, ladies and gentlemen. When Harry Met Sally has been added. Actually, a couple of movies have been added. I just like that Harry Met. I love that movie. That's like not a rom-com guy, but I do like When Harry Met Sally. And I think it's okay to say you're not a rom-com guy and like When Harry Met Sally, because when Harry Met Sally came out, the term rom-com hadn't been coined, and that was just sort of ground zero for that whole. Not that there hadn't been similar films over the years that would fit, but When Harry Met Sally is the movie that became the big hit that people like Nora Ephron and all these people went, well, okay, When Harry Met Sally was big, I got this idea. It's called Sleepless in Seattle. And I've got this idea. It's called You've Got Mail. I've got this idea. And then suddenly we're just awash in rom-coms. And none of them are as good as When Harry Met Sally. Here are the movies that have been added. Iron Man. All right, Iron Man's great. The first Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr., that's a great film. Iron Man, Little Mermaid, and When Harry Met Sally have been added to the National Film Registry. Marvel's original superhero blockbuster Iron Man, Disney's The Little Mermaid, and Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal's classic rom-com. Stop calling it a rom-com! The term did not exist when that movie came out. And Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal's classic rom-com, When Harry Met Sally, have been selected for preservation by the National Film Registry. Every year, the Library of Congress names 25 motion pictures that are at least 10 years old and register as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Other titles added to the National Film Registry last year included Brian De Palma's adaptation of Carrie, the John Waters musical Hairspray, the 1950s version of Cyrano de Bergerac, and the 1990s comedy House Party. Look at that! House Party is in the National Film Registry. Here's what I promise you. I promise you when they were filming House Party, nobody on that set said, one day we're going to be in the National Film Registry. So good for House Party. But this year's Iron Man, Little Mermaid, and When Harry Met Sally. Those are the ones that are going on. Oh, here, let me see. Do I have a list? Let me see. What? No. I was going to say we should look. What are the films in the National Film Registry? Let's see what else is in there. Just why not? We got nothing to do today, right? We're just talking about the world as it unfolds before us. Let's see. I wonder if there's a Wikipedia page that has a nice listing. National Film Registry, Wikipedia. Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, here we go. All right, let's see. What movies do we have here? What when the aliens finally conquer us and they try to figure out what our culture was like? Let's see. What films will the aliens be watching in 2,000 years? 1957's 3:10 to Yuma. The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, 12 Angry Men from 1957. These are all good ones. Let me see. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, 42nd Street, 2001 A Space Odyssey. That movie sucks. Look, I am a massive Stanley Kubrick fan. Stanley Kubrick is my favorite director of all time. 2001 A Space Odyssey sucks. I'm sorry. I've seen it multiple times. I would like to say, I've seen it 1,000 times, but that's a lie. And you know why? Because I can't take it. Because I can't get through it. The first time I watched it, it took me like 3 days to get through it. I can't. It makes no sense. That movie is just too deep for you. Shut up. I get Clockwork Orange. I know what he's saying there. I get Dr. Strangelove. I know what he's saying there. I get Full Metal Jacket. I know what he's saying there. I'm not too lowbrow to get what Stanley Kubrick is getting at in his films. I just don't understand 2001. It's like he did some acid and made a movie. But there it is. It's in the National Film Registry. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein is in the Film Registry from 1948. Adam's Rib. That's a good movie. That's Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. The African Queen, Airplane, Alien, All About Eve. Okay, you know what? Apparently I'm realizing that this is all alphabetical and there's probably 1,000. So we will not be going through. I thought it'd be fun. I thought maybe there'd be like 20 movies, right? I thought, no, it turns out there's like 20,000 movies. So we won't be going through all the films in the National Film Registry. What else do we have? Oh, here's another big governmental entertainment prize that has been announced, the Mark Twain Prize. I watch the Mark Twain Prize every year. Every year it's broadcast on PBS. It is a star-studded event, and the Mark Twain Prize is the government. Well, I guess whatever. Actually, who gives out the Mark Twain Prize? That was the Kennedy Center. I think it's the Kennedy Center, which is like a part of the government, right? I mean, so the Mark Twain Prize is awarded every year to a legendary comedian. It's not necessarily a stand-up, although it could be a stand-up. People like Carlin and Pryor have won it, but Cosby won it, and then they took it away from him. I don't know why. I guess I got to Google that. But, you know, a lot of times it's comedic actors and actresses and all that stuff. And it's always just such a great show. It's always just a really fun show because you bring out a legend to honor them. And then all of the other legends show up, you know, because they're all friends. So this year's Mark Twain Prize has been announced. It's Adam Sandler. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Sandler. Let me tell you something. Back around 1995, when Adam Sandler was on the set of Little Nicky, and he's making Little Nicky, or maybe he's making Billy Madison. Was that him? Yeah, maybe he's made something like that. There was no point where somebody said to him, "You're going to win a Mark Twain Prize." But here we are, all these years later, and Adam Sandler is going to win the Mark Twain, or has been awarded this year's Mark Twain Prize. Adam Sandler is poised to receive one of the country's top awards in front of a Washington crowd. The 56-year-old Billy Madison star is the 24th winner of the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. This was announced by the Kennedy Center late Tuesday. The award from the DC Performing Arts Institution recognizes individuals who have an impact on American society in ways similar to the distinguished 19th century novelist and essayist Samuel Clemens, better known as Mark Twain. So they're saying Adam Sandler has a little Mark Twain in him. Adam Sandler has entertained audiences for over 3 decades with his films, music, and his tenure as a fan favorite cast member on Saturday Night Live. Kennedy Center President Deborah Rutter said in a statement, Adam has created characters that have made us laugh, cry, and cry from laughing, Rutter said. Okay, so I'm old enough to remember Adam Sandler as just an obnoxious, weird guy who was funny, probably because he was so obnoxious and weird. But, you know, I mean, I've watched Adam Sandler over the years. Adam Sandler has adapted, he has changed, he has grown, he has gone from one thing to another. He has really shown growth in what it is that he does. So I don't have a problem with this. I think it's fair. I think that Adam Sandler certainly, I mean, you look at the box office, you look at the money, he is a big star. I know that maybe some people still want to deride him, you know, or maybe they want to marginalize him and his contribution, but he is a big star, man. That deal he signed with Netflix was, I mean, he is a powerful guy in the industry. And now he's doing he's more dramatic roles as he's getting older, which is always something I love to see from comedians. I love it when they do drama. The only one I didn't like was, well, actually, never mind. I'm not going to say that. I don't want to go into there. Okay, so some of the other people who have been awarded Mark Twain prizes over the years, as we said, there's been 24 of them. So let's see who the recipients are. Let's run through them. Who was the first one that was let in? Who was when they opened it up, when they said we're going to start doing Mark Twain prizes? Who's the first one that we're going to honor? Who gets in first? First ballot, no questions asked. Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor was honored by the Kennedy Center in 1998. Those there to honor Pryor. See, this is what I like about it. Like I said, you know, it's like, it's not just all about the person being honored. At these shows, the person being honored sits up in an opera box with his family. And every once in a while, the camera will show them. And then the stage is just filled with celebrities who come out and give speeches or do like stories about the person. It's really interesting. Those that were there to honor Pryor on the first Kennedy Center Mark Twain Awards presentation included Chris Rock, Robin Williams, Whoopi Goldberg, Chevy Chase, Tim Allen, Danny Glover, Damon Wayans, Chris Christopherson, Richard Belzer, Morgan Freeman, Ruth Brown, and Dick Gregory. Gene Wilder appeared in a pre-taped video. Yeah, because he was sick. Because Gene Wilder was sick. Second year, the Mark Twain Prize went to Jonathan Winters. Never got Jonathan Winters. I never got him. I mean, I don't get that kind of humor. The next guy in 2000 was Carl Reiner. That makes sense. Carl Reiner. Carl Reiner created so much great comedy in the 1960s and the 1970s. 2001, Whoopi Goldberg. What does she do? Why is Whoopi Goldberg? So the year before Whoopi Goldberg was Carl Reiner. That's a no-brainer. The year after Whoopi Goldberg was Bob Newhart. That's a no-brainer. How does Whoopi Goldberg? What does she do? Is she even funny? Is she fun? Well, was she funny? Well, I mean, I guess she did do some comic. I guess in Ghost she was like comic relief. Color Purple, she wasn't funny. On The View, she's not. I don't get this. I don't get it. Anyway, I've never really understood Whoopi Goldberg's appeal. Seems like a nice old lady. To me, she just seems like a nice old lady. She doesn't seem like somebody that needs to be like a major celebrity that I don't get it. 2001 was Whoopi Goldberg. 2002 was Bob Newhart. Bob Newhart is a treasure. That dude is still alive. Lily Tomlin got it in 2003. No complaints there. Lorne Michaels got it in 2004. No complaints there. Steve Martin got it in 2005. No complaints there. Neil Simon in 2006. No complaints there. Although I didn't watch that one because that one didn't appeal to me. Neil Simon was a playwright. Who cares? 2007, Billy Crystal got in. Not going to argue that. 2008, George Carlin got in. 2009, Bill Cosby got in. Those who honored Cosby, this is fun, right? Let's see who came out and talked about what a great guy, serial rapist Bill Cosby is. All right, so here's the people who honored Bill Cosby. Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with Spanish Fly? Chris Rock, Sinbad, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Stephen Wright, Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson got some Cosby stink on him. Carl Reiner, Dick Gregory, Rita Moreno, and Felicia Rashad. And then there's a little asterisk on the Cosby notation. Cosby's award was rescinded in 2018 due to sexual assault conviction. Nothing funny about that. After Cosby, they gave it to Tina Fey, 2010. Then in 2011, they gave it to Will Ferrell. Then in 2012, they gave it to Ellen DeGeneres. Then in 2013, and this is a freaking crime. I love Will Ferrell. I got no hate for Ellen DeGeneres, but how the hell are you going to honor Will Ferrell and Ellen DeGeneres before Carol Burnett? How do you Will Ferrell 2011? So there were 2 years where Will Ferrell was walking around out there feeling like he was more of an accomplished person to American culture and comedy than Carol Burnett. No, look, I know Carol Burnett ain't done much in 30 years, but stop it. 2013, Carol Burnett. 2014, Jay Leno got in. That makes sense to me. 2015, Eddie Murphy got in. That makes sense to me. 2016, Bill Murray got in. You're damn right. 2017, we put Letterman in there. 2018, the year they rescinded Bill Cosby. We're going to take a moment here. JLD got in 2018. God, I love JLD. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. National treasure. Actually, no. We're going to up it for Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's not a national treasure. She's a cultural goddess. There you go. That's the new one. Cultural goddess. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. 2019, Chappelle got in. 2000, and then there was nothing for 2 years. So 2019 was Chappelle, and then there was nothing in 2020 because of coronavirus, nothing in 22 because of coronavirus, and then No, nothing in 20, nothing in 21 because of coronavirus. So in 2019, it was Chappelle. And then in 2022, it was Jon Stewart. And in 2023, Adam Sandler is going in. All right, so there you have it. That is the National Film Library. That's all I have prepared for you as far as the trending topics and all the big headlines. So let's jump in right now at the end of the show and see if anything has happened while we were doing this. I like to do this. I don't know why I do it this way, but it just seems it's the easiest and the most accessible. So we check the Twitter trends. We see what's trending on Twitter. And I get angrier and angrier because whenever I check Twitter trends, it just reminds me that I am old, out of touch, and I don't understand why any of these things are trending. But let's jump in. Let's give it a try, shall we? All right, trending right now. Twitch, DJ Twitch, Ellen DeGeneres. We talked about him. He is trending number one on Twitter at the moment. Mandy Rose is trending. So it's because of wrestling. I don't know who that is. Allison is trending. I don't know why Allison's. Oh, Allison. Skadooby-doo. Sandy Hook is trending at 4. Sandy Hook. So you think you can dance is trending. So you think you can dance is trending, I'm guessing, because of DJ Twitch. That's where he came from. I think I misspoke. I think I said that he came from America's Got Talent. What the fuck? Who cares? These shows are all the same, right? These are stupid. These are all just mind candy. That's all. So you think you can dance is where DJ Twitch came from. Panera is trending. Why is Panera trending? Are we boycotting Panera? Because I got to tell you, I have been boycotting Panera for about, I don't know, the entire existence of Panera. I have never been in a Panera. You're going to try, I'm a fat guy. You're going to try and lure me into your store by going, Panera? Bread. Bread? What else you got? I never understood Panera. I don't. Panera is up there with what's the other place that I hate? What's the other place? What's the Raising Cane's? That's the other place that I just can't get behind. Panera Bread and Raising Cane. Oh, but Raising Cane's fine. Here's my problem with Raising Cane. It defies all business logic that I just. So with Raising Cane, somebody went into a bunch of investors, a bunch of guys around a table with a bunch of money. This dude's got an idea and he wants money for his idea. This guy went in there, he sat down and he said, we're going to do a fast food restaurant, but it's only going to be a kid's menu. That's what Raising Cane's is. I don't want chicken fingers. That's all these chicken sticks, chicken finger. This is a kid's menu. This entire restaurant is a freaking kid's menu. And you got to, it's good. Shut up. You're eating chicken fingers, you infant. I don't get it. I never got Raising Cane's, but it's good. Won't try it. Won't try it because I resist the very idea. I resist the act. I can't believe it exists. It's a children's menu. All right, I've got a new pitch. It's a new fast food restaurant, and I think all the adults are going to want to go to it. It's called Sketties. And really, all you just get is a big mug of SpaghettiOs, and we call it Sketties, and that's all you get. What else do you have at Sketties? That's it. Just Sketties. And then what? Somebody's going to give me $1 billion, and in like 5 years, I'll have 500 Sketties from coast to coast? I'll tell you, you know what my idea is? You know my restaurant? I do have a fast food restaurant. Actually, I guess it would be fast casual dining. I do have a fast casual dining idea, and I think that 2023 might be the year to do it. I've mentioned this before. I've been holding on to this for years. Those of you who have been listening to my shows, you've heard me say this before. I recently laid this idea on my 13-year-old son. Floored him. He doubled over in laughter because he so got the idea. Okay. Here's my idea. Here's what I want money for. You guys got hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever. You want to give me like 50 million? Let me open a couple of these. Let me do that. Okay. Here's my idea. You know how Hooters exists? You got Hooters. And who is Hooters' target audience? Men. Right. Okay. Straight men. Obviously, straight men. Girls, big boob. Hooters. Get it? It's funny because it's a howl. It's an owl. It's our logo. We're not being misogynistic. We're not talking about boobs. It's an owl. And what noise does an owl make? Hoot, hoot. And all our girls just coincidentally have big boobs. Right. That's okay. So that's fine. I love Hooters. But I often worry about my gay brethren. Like, how come my gay friends don't have a Hooters? Men like to go out and drink, okay? Some men like to go out and drink and look at women. Some men like to go out and drink and look at dudes. Why can't we do a chicken wing place just like Hooters and have it be for gay dudes and call it, are you ready? Peckers. Why can't we have a gay Hooters for gay men and women? Women can go there too. A gay Hooters. It's called Peckers, and our logo is a woodpecker with a long phallus looking. All right, see what I'm doing? It's not about dicks. It's about woodpeckers, and that's what woodpeckers. And here's what the dudes wear. Spending awful lot of time thinking about gay restaurants. Man, I spend a lot of time thinking about how to make money. And if there's an avenue to make some money. So all the dudes at Peckers, I don't know what they'll be wearing shirt-wise. I don't know. Maybe they'll be shirtless. I guess it depends. But what they have to wear is they have to wear bright red Speedos. Why bright red? Because Woody Woodpecker. Woody Woodpecker had the red hair. So, so they're just all these dudes serving chicken wings, big mustaches, buff, because, I'm guessing my wait staff is going to be mostly gay, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to be. Doesn't have to be. And so there you go. Peckers. Why won't somebody give me that money? Every gay neighborhood in America should have a Peckers. And we'll do good wings. It'll be awesome. Nobody will give me money for that. But some dude walked in and said, I'm just going to serve chicken fingers off a kid's menu. And, now you got Raising Canes. But Peckers won't exist. Peckers is not allowed. Suicide prevention is trending, obviously because of the Twitch thing. That's a very sad situation. Apparently there's a World Cup game going on. World Cup game going on between Morocco and France. Is that happening now? I don't know for sure. But they're worried because apparently the Moroccans and the French don't get along because there's a lot of Moroccan immigrants and there's all kinds of worries that there's going to be riots in France. And Red Lobster is trending. I don't know why Red Lobster is trending. I don't know. Do you want to hear a fun fact? I have never dined at a Red Lobster. I've never been in a Red Lobster. Never. I mean, there was a Red Lobster in my hometown my entire life growing up. We never went to a Red Lobster, ever. I don't know why that is. I mean, I love those biscuits, but I buy those at the store. You buy the biscuits at the store and you make them at home. What are they? Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits or something like that. Those are good. Who else is trending? What else do we have here? Super Nintendo World. All right, nothing else is trending. That's it. All right, folks, I think we're out. I think we are done. I think that's going to pretty much do it for today's show. Remember, there is not going to be a Pillow Talk tonight. Typically, you'd hear Pillow Talk at 9 p.m. every Monday through Thursday with myself and James Parker. It's not happening tonight. What else? Okay, so no Pillow Talk tonight and no High Noon tomorrow. I'm terribly sorry. No High Noon tomorrow. But there will be a Pillow Talk tomorrow and then normal schedule on Friday. There you have it. Got a bunch of Christmassy stuff I got to do. I got to leave right after this and so much running around. There we go. There's our closing theme. Why is it so loud? Why is it so loud? I have got my... I don't know. Why is it so low? To see me through the lonely nights. Help me to be... I hate my phone. My phone is... If a phone in perfect condition is working at 100% of its capability, my phone is working at a good 25% of its capability. It's just, my son humiliates me every time. Why don't you get a new phone? And, I'm trying to teach him, just because something doesn't look nice anymore doesn't mean you need to get rid of it. It still works. This is like my whole life growing up. Why don't we have a new car? Because the old one still runs. And that's a very blue-collar, working-class, middle American sensibility. That my son likes to embarrass me, though. Like if we're out in public, like he does this, when we're out in public, if I pull out my phone around a stranger, he will immediately draw attention to the phone so that the stranger mocks me. I tell you, I love him, but he was way more nice to be around at 6 than at 13. Because now, apparently, I'm just a big target for all of his jokes. And let me tell you, he's got jokes. He's fast with the jokes. Things are going good. All right, Al, I love you. I love you, Frank. I love you, Adam. Adam knows that. Byron, love you. Byron raises a good point. He says, stop dancing around the euphemism for my peckers, which would be my gay version of Hooters for the for homosexuals and women. Peckers, he wants me to call it cocks. Byron says, skip the euphemism and call it cocks. I feel you, man. I mean, and please, I've been there already. I've circled those wagons. I've thought about that. I like that there's just a little bit more ambiguity with peckers. I like a little bit more distance. You know, I could just, cocks is kind of obvious. It's a little bit, cocks, I see your point, Byron, but calling my gay Hooters cocks instead of peckers, cocks is a little too on the nose. But hey, what do I know? I'm a broke ass. It's not like my ideas are proven to be game changers. Been operating this show at a massive deficit for the better part of a year. So, I'm not a businessman. I'm an idea man. I don't have the greed. All right, guys, I gotta go. Don't say cocks and you feel me in that order. Don't say cocks and feel me. Okay, I get you. All right, guys, I got to go. I love you. Next time we will speak will be tomorrow evening at 9. We're not going to speak tonight at 9. I'm sorry. We're not going to speak tomorrow at noon. I'm sorry for that as well. Because you know how much I love doing this show. I got something else I got to do. Commitments. All right, bye, everybody. Have a great day. It's sunny out. Sunny out here in North Texas. Huh? What's the temp? I don't even know. That is understood. 55 and sunny as hell out there. All right, bye, everybody. Have a great day. This is High Noon with me, Pugs Moran, on the Radio Misfits podcast platform, RadioMisfits.com. I am on a never-ending quest